Come to Soul 302, Study Session 6, The Yoruba of Nigeria. Introduction. The Yoruba is one of the major ethnic groups in Nigeria, found in the southwestern part. It is indeed the second largest ethnic group in Nigeria, with very rich cultural heritage. In discussing Yoruba ethnic group in this study session, we'll focus on their cosmogonic origin, their pre-colonial existence, nature of their leadership, group organizations and leagues, their religious and belief systems, as well as Yoruba calendar. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Explain the historical origin of the Yoruba. 2. Discuss the cosmogonic origin mythology of the Yoruba. 3. Explain the pre-colonial Yoruba society. 4. Enumerate the groups, organizations, and leagues in Yoruba land. 5. Describe things in Yoruba society. 6. Describe the Yoruba calendar. 7. Explain the marital process, family, and kinship. The Yoruba. Yoruba people are one of the largest ethno-linguistic or ethnic groups in West Africa. The majority of Yoruba speak the Yoruba language. The Yoruba constitute around 30 million individuals throughout West Africa and are found predominantly in Nigeria with approximately 25% of its total population. The Yorubas are the main ethnic group in the Nigerian federal states of Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo. They also constitute a sizable proportion of Kwara and Kogi state, as well as Edo. As well as having access to the sea, they share borders with the Bogu in the northwest, the Nupe, they often call Takpa, and Ebira in the north. The Edo, who are also known as Benin people, and the Ishans and Efimai in the southeast. The Igala and other related groups are found in the northeast, and the Egun, Fon, and other Bay-speaking people in the southwest. While the majority of Yoruba live in western Nigeria, there are also substantial indigenous Yoruba communities in the Republic of Benin, Ghana, and Togo. The African people who live in the lower western Niger area, at least by the 4th century BC, were not initially known as Yoruba, although they share a common ethnicity and language group. But archaeology and traditional Yoruba oral historians confirm the existence of people in this region for several millennia. Some contemporary historians contend that some Yoruba are not indigenous to Yoruba land, but are descendants of immigrants to the region. It is believed that an important man called Odudua, who many believe to have arrived from an easterly direction, established a kingdom at Ile-Ife, and thus became the first Oba of who today are known as the Yoruba people. Between 1100 AD and 1700 AD, the Yoruba kingdom of Ife experienced a golden age. The Oba or ruler of Ife is referred to as the Oni of Ife. It was then surpassed by the Yoruba Oyo Empire as the dominant Yoruba military and political power between 1700 AD and 1900 AD. The Oba or ruler of Oyo is known as the Alafin of Oyo. Ife, however, remain and continue to be viewed as the spiritual homeland of the Yoruba. The nearby Benin Empire, with its capital in the modern-day Benin City in modern-day Nigeria was also a powerful force between 1300 and 1850 AD. The ruler of Benin City is referred to as the Oba of Benin. Most of the city-states were controlled by Obas with various titles and councils made up of Oloye, guild of noble leaders or chiefs and merchants. Different states saw differing ratios of power between the kingship and the chiefs' council. Some, such as Oyo, had powerful autocratic monarchs with almost total control, while in others, such as the Ijebu City state, the senatorial councils held more influence, and the power of the ruler or Oba, referred to as the Aujale of Ijebu land, was more limited. Cosmogonic origin mythology. Orishanla, also known as Obatala, was the arch-divinity chosen by Olodumare, the supreme deity, to create solid land out of the primordial water that constituted the earth and populating the land with human beings. Obatala descended from heaven on a chain, carrying a small snail shell full of earth, palm kernel, and 5-toed chicken. It was to empty the content of the snail shell in the water, and after placing some pieces of iron in it, and then to place the chicken on the earth to spread it over the primordial water. Recently, historians have attributed this cosmological mythology to a pre-existing civilization at Ile-Ife, which was invaded by military immigrants from the east, led by a king named Oduduwa. Oduduwa and his group had been persecuted on the basis of religious difference and forced out of their homeland. They came to Ile-Ife, where they subjugated the pre-existing Ugbo inhabitants under the leadership of Oreluere. Upon the death of Oduduwa, there was a dispersal of his children from Ile-Ife to found other cities or kingdoms. Owu, Ketu, Benin, Ila, Sabe, Bobo, and Oyo each made a mark in the subsequent urbanization and consolidation of Yoruba Confederacy of Kingdoms, with each kingdom tracing its origin to Ile-Ife. Pre-colonial Yoruba society. Monarchies were a common form of government in the Yoruba-speaking region, but they were not the only approach to government and social organizations. Numerous Ijebu City states to the west of Oyo and the Egba communities found in the forest below Oyo's Savannah region were notable exceptions. These included polities, often elected an Oba through the real political, legislative, and judicial powers resided with the Ogboni, a council of notable elders. During the internecine wars of 19th century, the Ijebu forced citizens of the more than 150 Ijebu and Owu communities to migrate to the fortified city of Abeokuta, where each further retained its own Ogboni council of civilian leaders, along with an Olorogun, or council of military leaders, and in some cases, its own elected Obas or Bales. These independent councils then elected their most capable members to join a federal, civilian, and military council that represented the city as a whole. Traditionally, the Yoruba organized themselves into a network of related villages, towns, and kingdoms, with most of them headed by an Oba or Baales nobleman or mayor. Kingship is not determined by simple primogeniture as in most monarchical system of government. An electoral college of lineage heirs is usually charged with selecting a number of one of the royal families, and the selection is usually confirmed by an Ifa divination request. The Obas live in palaces, usually in the center of the town, opposite to the king's palace in the Oja Oba, the king's market. These markets form an inherent part of Yoruba life. Traditionally, the market traders are well organized, have various guilds, and an elected speaker. Leadership. Gerontocratic. Leadership council that guarded against the monopolization of power by a monarch or were a proverbial trait of the Egba, according to the eminent Oyo historian Reverend Samuel Johnson. But such councils were also well developed among the northern Okun groups, the eastern Ekiti, and other groups falling under the Yoruba ethnic umbrella. Even in Oyo, the most centralized of the pre-colonial kingdoms, the Alaafin consulted on all political decisions with the Prime Minister, the Basharu, and the Council of Leading Nobles, known as Oyobesi. The monarchy of any city-state was usually limited to a number of royal lineages. A family could be excluded from kingship and chieftaincy if any family member, servant, or slave belonging to the family committed a crime such as theft, fraud, murder, or rape. The kings were traditionally almost always polygamous and often married royal family members from other domains, groups, organizations, and leagues in Yoruba land. The tendency to form associations, occupational guilds, social clubs, secret or initiatory societies, and religious units, commonly known as Egbe in Yoruba, included the Barakoyi and Egbe Ode, and corporations in very strong is take two, 1, 2. And corporations is very strong among Yoruba. They are formed for the purpose of promoting and protecting common interests in the field of politics, economics, religion, recreation, and enjoyment. It has been argued that so strong is their influence that in some communities, slaves in the days of slavery organized themselves into convivial association. One interesting result of this tradition of association is that whenever there is an appreciable community of Yoruba, either outside Yoruba land or even only outside their own particular communities, an organization will spring up completely with officials. This group will certainly have judicial functions and will have its convivial and mutual help strongly developed. Thus, in Yoruba, we have political associations of which the Ogboni Secret Society is a prominent feature. We also have association of warriors, the Hunters Association, the Age Group, Women Political Association, Religious Association, Mutual Help Association, and Convivial Association. Each of these associations perform peculiar functions. There are also examples of other peer organizations in the region. When the Egba resisted the imperial dominance of the Oyo Empire, a figure named Lisabi is credited with either creating or reviving a concerted traditional organization named Egbe Aru. This group, originally a farmers group, was converted into a network of secret militia throughout the Egba forest, and each plotted to overthrow Oyo's Ajeles in the late 1970s. Similarly, covert military resistance leagues like the Ekiti Parapor and the Ogidi Alliance were organized during the 19th century wars by often decentralized communities of Ekiti, Ijesha, Igbomina, Okun Yoruba in order to resist various imperial expansionist plans of Ibadan, Nupe, and the Sokoto Caliphate Society. Economic organization. Land and market are very central in the economic organization of the Yoruba. The majority of people predominantly engage in agriculture. Each man has the help of the dependent male member of his family in tilling the field, planting crops, as well as reaping. In the pre-colonial times, although there was no actual prohibition of women from hoeing and planting in kitchen gardens inside the towns, the Yorubas as whole did not use of the labor of women on their farms in these capacities. As a polygynist, whose wives may be following traders of their own, is by custom entitled to ask them to accompany him to the farm during the harvest time in order to assist him. The more important part of women's work on the farm, however, consists of changing form of various crops harvested so as to bring them a stage or two nearer points of ultimate consumption. The sexually division of labor between husband and the wife is carried over to the disposal of the farm produce. The wife is responsible for selling either in an elaborately processed form or practically as harvested. Some of the products of the farm that are in excess of the normal requirement of the farmer and his family. For these services, she may receive a commission. The only regular source of commercial labor which could be obtained in pre-colonial days was that of slaves and pawns. Otherwise, it was not the practice to sell labor. The labor of free-born men are freely given when required, but on the basis of mutual reciprocity. Among Yorubas, there are two types of markets. There are local markets and central markets. Local markets are for day-to-day buying and selling of townspeople, while central markets are meeting grounds for people of different towns and villages, and may be situated in a town or outside town on a conveniently situated highway which links several markets. Local markets in some towns are held during the hours of daylight, while others, even though not completely deserted during the daytime, have their peak periods after sunset. How long after nightfall the market lasts depends on the habits of the people and the comparative freedom of town and wards of towns from burglars. Generally, the Nigerian market, take 2, 1, 2. Generally, the night market is held by lamp light. Central markets are held at intervals of 4 or 8 days and last for greater part of the day. In some cases, the market does not begin to get really full until about 4 o'clock. Whether marketers, take 2, 1, 2. Whether markets are local or central, the traders are usually compartmentalized on the basis of the line of goods they sell. Thus, the beer sellers are to be found together, so are palm oil sellers, yam flour sellers, the sellers of firewood, dry fish sellers, dealers in fresh milk, sellers of calabashes, and so on. Religion and belief system. The Yoruba religion comprises religious belief and practices of the Yoruba people of old, before the Yoruba community encountered Islam, Christianity, and other faiths. Yoruba religious beliefs are part of Itan, the complex song, histories, and stories and other cultural concepts which make up the Yoruba religion and society. The philosophy of Yoruba, also known as Irumole, Ifa, Orisha, or Aborisha, is that all humans have Anyanmo to become one in spirit with Olodumare. Each person in Aye uses thought or action, energies to impact the community of all other living things, including the earth, and so to move towards destiny. As such, one's destiny is in one's hand. To attain transcendency and destiny in Orere, one's Orinu, spiritual consciousness in the physical realm, must be elevated to unify with one's Iponri. Those who stop improving are destined for Orun Apadi. Life and death are cycles of habitation in physical body and spiritual realms, while one spirit invokes total transcendency. This evolution is most advanced in Irumole, having unique air that distinguishes humans from beasts, Imo, enlightenment of destiny, Ile, on the land, etc. For most people, Ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́, mediation, and sincere veneration sufficiently strengthen one's Orinu. One is able to gbàdúrà for support from the Egungun or the Ori for application of the Odu to one's benefit. Those with strong motivation to manipulate destinies may consult Orunmila through Ifa. In invoking the Orunmila so directly, care is required to ensure alignment of thoughts and actions. Orunmila bring into motion either Orisha, benevolent or angelic forces, or Aje, demonic forces. All communications with the Orun is energized by invoking Ashe. Ashe is delivered by Elegbara, who without distortion or partiality for good or for bad negotiates communication to the Orun and navigates Orun forces to the Aye. Deities. Yoruba deities, Ogun, also known as Ogun, is present in the Candomblé and Umbanda religion of Brazil. Yoruba religion and mythology is a major influence in West Africa. Notable deities in Yoruba include Oya, Ifa, Eleda, Orisha, Osoyin, Oshun, and Sango. Human beings and other sentient creatures are also assumed to have their own individual deities of existence, called Ori, who is venerated through a sculpture symbolically decorated with cowrie shells. Traditionally, dead parents and other ancestors are also believed to possess powers of protection over their descendants. This belief is expressed in veneration and sacrifice on the grave or symbol of the ancestor, or as a community in the observance of the Egungun festival, where the ancestors are represented as a colorful masquerade of costume, and masked men who represent the ancient spirit. Dead parents and ancestors are also commonly venerated by pouring libation to the earth and the breaking of kola nuts in their honor at special occasions. Today, many contemporary Yoruba are active Christians and Muslims, yet retain many of the moral and cultural concepts of the Aborisha, Yoruba Orisha. Literally means owners of earth, or the means to get into contact with the supernatural. The term is often translated as deity. Olodumare is perhaps the most important divinity. Olodumare is so important that there can be no gender assigned to him. For Olodumare is seen mostly as a spirit. Olodumare is therefore more correctly referred to as an IT. IT is the owner of all earth, for during human creation, Olodumare gave the Emi, or breath of life, to humans. To the Yoruba, Olodumare is seen as their supreme in God. If there was a conflict among the other Orisha, IT would take over and find the solution. Take two, 1, 2. And fight, take two, 1, 2. And the fight would end. Irumole. Irumole was spirit sent by Olodumare to complete various tasks, often between Orun and Aye. Some were acknowledged as Orisha for their accomplishment. The Orishas helped to create and maintain order on earth. Among the Yoruba, it is believed that everything written is okay, but Orisha is different from Irumole. Human beings can become Orisha if they perform extraordinary tasks in the world before they died and went to heaven. But the Irumole are numbered. They are not more than 401. The number cannot increase. They are the ones Olodumare gave the right to care for the people before the human beings came to the world. And they also taught us how to live life as we are living today. We are worshiping God through them. We are not worshiping Orishas. They are human beings like us. In Yoruba belief, human beings cannot be worshipped, but they can be honored. We are honoring Orishas and our ancestors. The number of Orishas will continue to be increasing as the world is existing. There is no English word for Irumole. Hence, it is better to leave it as Irumole, the servant of Olodumare, God, that is the supreme being. The Egun are ancestral spirits who make transition but are still placated to assist and guide one throughout life. The Yoruba believe in reincarnation, similar to the Indian belief. They sometimes name children Babatunde and Yetunde to signal these belief things in Yoruba land. The Yoruba have the highest ratio of twin birth compared to single birth in the world. Births are very important for Yoruba, and they are often known for tending to give special names to each thing. The first of the twin to be born is traditionally named Taiwo, which means the first to taste the world. This is often shortened to Taiwo, Tai, or Tai. Kende is the name of the last born. Kende is sometimes also referred to as Kende Gbegbon, which is short for Omo Kende Gbegbon, which means the child that came last has become the elder of the two. Yoruba calendar. Time is measured in Ìṣẹ́jú, Wákàtí, Ọjọ́, Ọ̀sẹ̀, Oṣù, Ọdún. There are 60 Ìṣẹ́jú in one Wákàtí, 24 Wákàtí in one Ọjọ́, 7 Ọjọ́ in one Ọ̀sẹ̀, 4 Ọ̀sẹ̀ in one Oṣù, and 54 Ọ̀sẹ̀ in one Ọdún. There are 12 Oshus in one Ọdún. The Yoruba calendar year starts from 3rd June to 2nd June of the following year. According to this calendar, the Gregorian year 2008 AD, in the 10,058th year of Yoruba culture. To recognize with the Gregorian calendar, Yoruba people also measure time in 7 days a week and 4 weeks in a year. Marital process, family, and kinship. For a man or woman who has reached the age of marriage, to remain single is against the norms of the Yoruba. Men get married even when they are sexually impotent in order to save their own faces or the faces of their immediate relatives, as well as get someone to look after the domestic establishment. There are a few cases of confirmed bachelors men who have reached middle age without getting married, even though they are in a position to do so. In the olden days among the Yoruba, no person remained unmarried by choice after passing, say, the age 30 in the case of men and 25 in the case of women. The position in the case of women was made earlier by the fact that polygamy is socially approved, so that a woman who was still unbetrothed at the age of 25 may be absorbed in the harem of some prominent polygynists. Among the Yorubas, the prevalent form of human dwelling place is a collection of apartments for individual families. These apartments together are known as the compound, or to the Yoruba as agboile. They consisted of 2 or more rooms for each family. Polygamous or monogamous, and adjoin each other with common wall between adjacent apartments. Whether a family is polygamous or monogamous, wife, husband, and children are found under one roof. In the compound of the husband's extended family, each wife is allotted a room. The husband generally has a room, while the children sleep either with their mothers, if they are tender age or female, or the veranda. Each family confine its attention to its own part of the compound, and each person is as far as possible autonomous in the management of his affairs. However, people outside the immediate family are interested in its members and their welfare. Children are at liberty to go from one part of the compound to another, although a self-respecting parent might try to check any excess of this. Also, a feeling of solidarity is very strongly developed among the members of a compound. There are 3 types of kinship in Yoruba society, namely blood kinship, kinship by marriage, and non-legal secondary kinship. Blood kinship refers to all those to whom relationship by blood can be traced, both in the paternal line as well as the maternal. Kinship by marriage extends to the most distant kinsfolk of the man or woman to whom one is married or bestowed. Non-legal secondary kinship is relationship neither by blood or by marriage, but by the choice of either both parties or of one of the tacit concurrence of the older. Examples of the latter are cases of adoption of or assimilation of redeemed slaves. In kinship technology among the Yoruba, father is referred to as Baba. Father's father is called Babanla, or sometimes Babagba. Also, mother's father is addressed as Baba. The same applies to mother's brother and other male collateral cousins. Father's mother is called Iya when addressed, or Iyagba or Iyanla. Also, mother's mother when addressed. In her absence, she is Iyagba, Iyanla, or Iyaya, according to the need of the occasion. Husband father is Baba Oko in terms of reference, but plain Baba when addressed. Summary. In this study session, we discussed the Yoruba as one of the major ethnic groups in Nigeria. In this study session, we covered areas like their cosmogonic origin, their pre-colonial existence, nature of their leadership, groups, organizations, and leagues, their religion and belief system, as well as Yoruba calendar. We also discussed belief about twins in Yoruba culture. This is the end of study session 6. Thanks for listening.